Have you ever had a moment where just one sentence, one simple text, had the power to change everything? That's what happened to me. One evening, my wife stood in front of me, her face pale but her voice steady. She said, "I want a divorce. My mind is made up." In that moment, my whole world shook. But instead of begging, instead of arguing, I sent her a single text message, and that message changed everything. Stay with me until the end, because you need to hear how this story unfolds. I remember the evening so clearly. The house was quiet, too quiet. For weeks, something had felt wrong between us. Conversations became shorter, meals were eaten in silence, and her eyes never seemed to meet mine anymore. That night, she finally spoke words I had been dreading but never truly believed would come. "I want a divorce." Her tone wasn't angry, it wasn't even sad. It was final, like she had rehearsed it 100 times before. I sat there frozen. A part of me wanted to scream. Another part wanted to fall at her feet and beg her not to leave. But deep inside, I knew begging wouldn't help. Something in her heart had already closed. She explained that she was tired of trying, tired of waiting for change, tired of living in what she called a half-dead marriage. Her words cut me deeper than any knife could. I wanted to defend myself, to remind her of all the good times, of the laughter, the memories, the promises we once made, but instead, I stayed silent, because sometimes silence says more than words. When she walked away to pack a bag, my mind spun in chaos, a storm of emotions, anger, sadness, disbelief. But in the middle of that storm, a thought came to me. Maybe words spoken face to face would only push her further away. Maybe she needed space, but also, maybe she needed to feel something she had forgotten. So, instead of chasing her, I picked up my phone and typed one short message. My hands shook as I held the phone. Every letter I typed felt heavier than bricks. I wasn't trying to manipulate her. I wasn't trying to beg. I just wanted her to remember something real. I wrote, "Before you decide forever. Do you remember the night we first met, when it rained and you laughed so hard because we both forgot an umbrella? I still remember how your hair stuck to your face, and I thought, I want this woman beside me for the rest of my life." That was it. I hit send. "No, please don't leave. No, I'll change." Just a reminder, a memory, something real. Minutes felt like hours. I stared at my phone, waiting. Would she reply? Would she ignore it? When she finally read it, I saw the 3 dots appear. Then they disappeared, then came back again. She was struggling. That alone told me my words had reached her heart. Finally, her reply came. Just 3 words. I remember too. Those 3 words. They were like oxygen to a drowning man. She didn't come running back into my arms. Not yet. Instead, she sat down with her bag half-packed, looking at me with eyes softer than before. She whispered, "Why now? Why did you wait until I had one foot out the door to remind me?" Her voice trembled, and for the first time in months, I felt like she was letting me see the real her, not the version that had built walls around her heart. I told her honestly, because I thought we had time. I thought love was enough to carry us, even when we stopped saying it out loud. But maybe I was wrong. Tears filled her eyes, and suddenly, the distance between us wasn't just physical. It was emotional. Years of unspoken words, of quiet disappointments, of waiting for the other person to make the first move. That night, instead of fighting, we talked, really talked, about how she felt invisible, about how I buried myself in work, about how small resentments had grown into huge gaps. For the first time, I listened without defending myself, and for the first time, she admitted she wasn't sure if she wanted to leave, or if she was just tired of feeling alone in a marriage that was supposed to be built on togetherness. Her bag remained by the door, but she didn't walk out. Section 4. Choosing to stay. 500 words. The next few days were fragile. Every word, every action carried weight. She was still unsure. I was walking on thin ice, afraid one wrong step would send her away forever. But I remembered something my father once told me. Love isn't about the grand gestures. It's about the small ones, done every day. So, I started small, cooking her breakfast, leaving her little notes, asking her how her day truly was. At first, she seemed surprised, maybe even suspicious, but slowly, her guard began to lower. One evening, she found another message I had written, this time left on her pillow. It simply said, "I don't just love who you were. I love who you are now, even when it's hard." She held that note in her hands for a long time, and then, For the first time in weeks, she smiled at me. Not a polite smile, a real one. Bit by bit, she began staying closer. We watched an old movie together, laughed at something silly, shared dinner without silence. The cracks in the wall between us weren't gone, but light was finally coming through. One night, she looked at me with tears streaming down her face. I was ready to walk away forever. I was convinced nothing could save us, but that text. It reminded me of the love we once had, and these last few days, you reminded me that maybe we still have it. She put down her bag, the same bag she had kept by the door for days, like a silent threat. I don't want to divorce you, she whispered. I want to try again, but this time, we both need to fight for it. And in that moment, I knew the truth. One text message didn't save my marriage. What saved it was the choice to fight, to remember, to see each other again. Marriage isn't about never falling apart. It's about choosing to put the pieces back together, even when they don't fit the way they used to. Today, when I look back, I realize that text wasn't magic. It was just a spark. The fire came from what we built after. So, if you've ever felt like love was slipping away, maybe it's not about begging someone to stay. Maybe it's about reminding them, and yourself, why you fell in love in the first place. Because sometimes, one simple reminder can change everything. Sometimes, one small message can save a love story. Never forget that. If this touched you, stay till the end of every story I share.